Hello, everybody. I'm Robin, and these are my reflections. Today, we are reflecting on the Estrella Tarot. Now, this is a beautiful, fun pop culture Marseille deck redrawn in the pop culture vibe to give people something fun to work with, right? And it's done by Estrella. I will link her Etsy shop below. Currently, I think that you can't get the full deck. You can maybe only get the majors, but it is coming back. It's just out of print. It's not, I mean, it's just out of stock. It is not out of print. Okay. I think that, it's been said that she is going to be reprinting it later in the year. So I'm not, all that aside, I'm doing this video because when I first purchased this deck last year, I looked for a video that told me kind of what the characters were or who the characters were or who the pop culture icons were, and there was not one. She did make her own video, but it was in French. So I wanted to make one in English. So I went through the guidebook and I pulled out everything that she said about it. And yeah, so I'm going to present it here. Let's start with just a quick review of the logistics of the deck. So it does come in a tuck box. And like I said, you can find it on Etsy. And it does come with a guidebook, but the guidebook is in French. It is a very large guidebook, so it's not like a drag and drop into Google Translate, which I tried to do, but it was way too many gigabytes or terabytes or whatever bytes. I'm not sure. But this is a nice tuck box. It's one of those sort of satiny matte ones with like a coating on it, so that's nice. So that's the box, and then these are the cards. They come with a title card with some information, and those are the backs. Very fun, very summery. I'm excited to get these back out and start using them again. I picked them up last year. This was actually the deck that started my newest obsession with Marseille. Restarted, I guess, my newest obsession with Marseille. So this one is, I saw it on a Waves of Your Soul's Instagram. She posted it when she first got it. And at the time I was, doing the thing in your head that you do. It was like, oh, I can't buy another Marseille deck. I'm not really using Marseille, blah, blah, blah. So I made a promise to myself that if I used Marseille for one full month, then I was allowed to buy this deck. And I'm actually really glad I waited because then it went on sale. It was great. So that being said, I am going to go through this deck. We're going to do a little flip through and I'm going to tell you what it says. So before I get started, let's just talk about the basics. It's what she said in the guidebook was she customized it to modernize it to resemble the world around us. With its diversity of colors, bodies, and genres, I took the liberty of adding symbols that make sense of modifying names so that they are as many male and female figures. I also illustrated some known characters that adhere to the archetype of the card. There are 78 cards. It's standard tarot size. It's flexible matte cardstock, certified paper. It does come with a guidebook, like I said. It's in French. And yeah, it has the explanation of all the cards. So I was able to translate it using my Google Translate scanny thingy. And it does come, she also put in there some methods and tips and resources and correspondences and symbolism. So it's a really good guidebook. So if you can read in French, or if you have time to actually sit and really translate the whole thing, I think there's some really good information in there. From what I translated, the pages I translated, there's really good information in there. So that's also a resource that comes with your deck. If you have the deck and you haven't looked at the guidebook, you might want to take a look. You can use your Google Translate scanny app thing on your phone. Or you can just, pay a translating service online to translate the whole PDF or whatever. All right, so let's look at the cards. Let's get into it. The cards are, like I said, they are a regular tarot size. This is a regular tarot size card. They are standard tarot size, bordered. They are they are matte. They do catch a little bit of it's like a semi-matte, and they're fairly thin. Yeah, they're fairly thin. I would say these are slightly thinner than about the thickness of maybe a Llewellyn card. Okay, so they're fairly thin, but they shuffle great, and I used them a little bit before I put them back in order, and they didn't chip up on me or anything. They move good. They are cord, but they're just thin. So let's start with the Fool. Let me zoom you in. So just so you know, not all of the people are pop culture influences, but for everyone that is a pop culture influence, I will tell you what it says in the guidebook about that pop culture influence and why she chose that person. So we'll start with the Magician. It says, the Fool arrives in the arcana of the magician, the beginning of his journey, where he will become aware of his infinite potential. The magician is young and ambitious and is still only an apprentice. He has a head full of ideas and projects. He is represented in the front of his stall, where are installed all his tools, the energies of the minor arcana, that he has at his disposal to get started. Intelligent, creative, astute, and of goodwill, he gives himself the means of his ambition by using his talents to carry out his projects. He often built himself. He follows his desires and goes for it. It is often impulsive, even if he has no long-term plan. Assimilated to the entity of the magician, he has the power to channel his divine potential. He can show his intentions in the concrete and thus create his desires. Alchemist, he can use his tools and synergy to help this manifestation. The alignment of sound, soul, and its daily actions help to create its future. I go even further by talking about creative visualization, which is an act of magic and a powerful tool to come. The magician sends you the message that all the potential is present in you to create your reality. I represented here Michael Jackson, who is for me the figure of the magician. From a young age, he embarked on his path as an artist without knowing that he was going to become an international star. He knew how to create a whole universe thanks to his talent, his potential. He knew how to manifest his life as a star. Keywords: power, resource, ingenuity, intelligence, potentiality, beginning, will, confidence, initiative, hesitation, weakness, cheating, manipulation, delay in plans, untapped talents, lack of self-confidence. So now you see what I mean by this guidebook has some stuff in it. So it is worth, taking the time to take a look at. So that's the magician, as we can see, is Michael Jackson. The papesse is Marie Laveau. The empress is Marie Antoinette. The emperor is Emperor Haile Selassie I, the last emperor of Ethiopia, the only African country not having been colonized by Europeans. The Pope is Baba Muji, a spiritual leader in the UK and Portugal. Here we have our lovers. They're not a pop culture, represented by anybody in pop culture. The charioteer is Freddie Mercury. Justice is the Egyptian goddess Maat. Here's our hermit. The wheel of fortune. Strength is at 11 in the stack because it's Marseille. The hanged man. Death. Unnamed. Now, temperance is Ama Ahindu, a spiritual teacher often referred to as the hugging saint. The devil. The tower. The star. Our moon. I love the colors. It's a lot of fun. Now, I did ask if there was any associations that I should be taking, any correspondences that I should be taking from the colors here, and she did indicate that there are no correspondences. She just chose colors that she liked as an artist. So there are no correspondences that we need to pay attention to as we're going through. So she did indicate reversals with the dots at the bottom of the cards, which is very, very helpful. It means I don't have to go through and do it myself, and it's part of the artwork. It's really, easy to ignore if you don't want to use it, but if you do need it, it is there for you. So that's helpful. And the wands, we'll just go through. You can see are pretty traditional aside from the color changes. Then when we get to the court cards, they are, again, pop culture references. So this is Marty McFly Michael J. Fox is Marty McFly, the main character of Back to the Future. A reckless teenager will explore and live adventures in the future abroad his time. Now, I am reading directly from the guidebook, so that's where these words are coming from. The Knight is represented by singer and rapper Lizzo. This artist shows an unfailing determination for the causes she supports. She is a sparkling, extravagant woman who assumes her body and her uniqueness. The mount of the rider is replaced by a Black Panther. The Queen of Wands is here, Sade. She is charismatic, a sensual singer. So for her charm, her voice, and her charisma, she chose the King of Wands. She chose Sade for the Queen of Wands. And the King of Wands is Will Smith. It says here, the King of Wands, Will Smith here represented the King of Wands. Besides, after the last events, we can see that the very controlled impression can sometimes explode. So that kind of, dates, gives you kind of a feel for when she created the deck. All right, so here we are with our Cups suit. I'm just going to read a little bit from the Two of Cups so that you can see what the guidebook sounds like in a minor. It says, 2 cups, perfectly symmetrical, stand on either side of a floral stem that ends with 2 strange animals that represent duality, but also the material and the spiritual. This may be the duality contained in a person or the duality of 2 complementary beings. This card illustrates the union or the partnership on the level of the emotions, place or state of being, shared feelings, mutual understanding and love, fusional love, union, engagement, marriage, birth, partnership, contract, complementary, actions, fear of commitment, protection, opposition, disagreement, rivalry, hypocrisy, separation, stagnation, misunderstanding. And so that was our Two of Cups entry. So like I said, it's worth it to take a look in the guidebook. And if you're not someone who minds taking the time to decipher it, it could be a fabulous resource for Marseille. I know I've been dipping in and out of it. Now it does take a little bit. Like I said, I wasn't able to drop it right in Google Translate and just translate the whole PDF, but I can do it page by page with my phone, and it was really easy. So that was nice. I love these tropical flowers that she put on here. I think she's from Mauritius. So she lives in an island country, and I think, that sort of tropical island flair, it really comes alive in her artwork. So the Page of Cups is Matilda, the innocent Matilda from The Professional, that Leon film, who loses her whole family in a massacre and moves in with her neighbor Leon. Her emotion is palatable throughout the film. So that is the Page of Cups. The Knight is illustrated as Amy Winehouse, sensitive, creative, never had a chance to mature. The Queen is Nina Simone, artistically talented, sensitive, regal, fights for what's right. And the King is Sean Connery. James Bond makes a good King of Cups. And these are not my words. I'm reading these from the guidebook, okay? She used cowrie shells as the coins, also giving it that wonderful island flair. Apparently, she lives in Paris now. So, Paris is what she's put on the copyright for the deck. So that's neat. Because she is from an island country, I can't remember if it was said Mauritius or Madagascar, but wherever she's from, it's definitely a tropical island, and you can definitely feel it in her artwork. And these cowrie shells were once used as currency there, which I think was mentioned in her guidebook. I can't remember where I learned that, but it's definitely, fitting for the coins suit. So we get to the Page of Coins, who is Greta Thunberg, very young, environmental activism. Knight, Sophia Amoruso, a serial entrepreneur, created a few companies that she sold off for a lot of money, most notably a company called Nasty Gal, which was a fashion company. Our queen is Kimora Lee Simmons. She is a model, businesswoman with a fashion line. She used to be married to Russell Simmons, who is, to my disappointment, not the king. Our king is Steve Jobs. I don't think he needs any introduction. We know who he is. Onto our swords. Beautiful. Very lovely coloring. And our page is Tupac. Uh-oh, where is the page? Sorry about that. Our page is Tupac. He doesn't need any introduction. Our knight is Marsha P. Johnson. She is a transgender woman who was an LGBT activist in the 80s and 90s. I had to look some of these people up, so I'm just giving you guys some background. The queen is Indira Gandhi, Prime Minister of India. And the King of Wands is Lawrence Fishburne for his role in The Matrix. So since he was in The Matrix, she made him the King of Wands, but she didn't dress him like The Matrix. She dressed him like the King of Wands. And so that is the deck. Let's just give them a quick shuffle and I'll lay them out so that you can kind of see. They are super bendy. Like I said, they're kind of thin, the cardstock, so they bend and shuffle really easily. They feel about like a Llewellyn cardstock. Not a Llewellyn. They don't feel like a Llewellyn cardstock, but they feel like about the thickness of that so that I can bend them really easily. They don't have that Llewellyn sheen on them, so they're not slippery. They're more matte than not. They overhand fine. You can overhand them both ways because they're normal tarot size. And let's just give them a layout so you can see what we got. So yeah, they look great on the table. They're a lot of fun. I really enjoyed them. And I'll be working with them this month for sure in my Marseille for May. So I just wanted to share that with you guys and then just put like a resource here for anybody who was interested in just knowing who these people were. Because some of them I read from the guidebook and some of them it just listed their names. So I went and looked them up so I could give a little bit of information. And that's all I have for you today. So if you like this video, you can give it a thumbs up. If you want to see more from me, please subscribe. I record videos every few days regarding tarot and oracle. Share this video with your friends if you know anybody who is wondering about the people in this deck. And until next time, stay safe and be blessed. Bye.